Ajaz Patel in again. There's a slope. This is straight up in the air. This has to be caught. Is there someone under it? It is. It's out. Ajaz Patel of New Zealand has taken 10 wickets in a test match. He's gone beyond the great Richard Hadley. What an incredible effort by Ajaz Patel. Born in Mumbai, 10 wickets in Mumbai, but for New Zealand. Absolutely brilliant. And what an effort to do this in the place that you were born.
That was me on TalkSport calling the third occasion in history that a bowler took 10 wickets in an innings in Test match cricket. Ajaz Patel is a wicket taker. In the space of 11 balls at one stage on the first day, he delivered 4 wicket-taking deliveries. On day 2, he was on a hat-trick. When he bowls a good ball, there's a boom that goes with it. In 2,348 tests, taking 10 wickets in an innings has happened twice before, when Jim Laker did something that will never be beaten, 19 wickets in a game, and Anil Kumble's incredible 10-wicket haul. And that's it. In fact, in a previous video, I actually looked at how unlikely ever taking 10 wickets is in Test match cricket.
This is the last look. It's almost as good as a Minecraft video. Imagine that.
Jeremy was on the phone with a man who was in Trinidad at the time who told him of a cricket player in New Delhi who got all 10 wickets in one inning. Thought I was going to blow it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. This is from the World Observer. It says if you compared it to baseball, it'd be like pitching 3 perfect games on 3 consecutive days. Really?
Alright, warning, we're going to have to get a bit baseball here. A perfect game in baseball means no hitters reach the base. It has happened 18 times, while one bowler taking all 10 wickets in a test has happened twice. But baseball has played 219,500 games, and we've only had 2,390 odd tests. The games are not exactly like for like. Baseball has 2 pitchers who can throw a perfect game in every match. There are 4 innings that a bowler could take all 10 wickets in a test. So in cricket, a 10-wicket haul happens every 4,780 chances. But the perfect game in baseball is only going to come around 1 in 24,388 opportunities. So it's not really like pitching 3 straight perfect games. It's probably more like throwing 4 straight no-hitters. I mean, this is incredible. There were 2 things that ever happened through the history of Test cricket. One person made 400 runs and 2 guys had taken 10 wickets in an innings. And we just added a third. And think of the other names. Lara, Laker, Kumble, Ajaz Patel. I mean, he's always going to be remembered for this, but he's not destined to be a legend of cricket. He barely bowls at home. He's a 33-year-old in his 11th test. And he just jumped the queue and just chiseled himself on a very exclusive cricket Mount Rushmore. I mean, this is all extraordinary. Think of the other spinners in this game. R. Ashwin took 4 for 8. He looked like he could have taken even more than 10 wickets if you or me had been bowling at the other end. And Ajaz Patel is averaging 11 in Test cricket right now. And he's like one good spell in the second innings from going under his arch nemesis, Surrey and England's George Lohmann, for the lowest bowling average ever. Here you have the humble and barely mentioned Ajaz Patel, who didn't bowl well in the first test, and even though the pitch was in his favour, a bowler who just doesn't lie on the ball where he wants to every single ball. And so in between his incredible deliveries, and even while he was taking his 10 wickets, he sometimes just bowled terrible balls. And yet when you look at his overall figures, not only is he the first man to take 10 wickets away from home, although it's technically away from home from him, he's also not gone for many runs. And that's why this isn't a Jason Krejci situation. It isn't like when Krejci took 14 wickets for 3 billion runs in what is still one of the most incredibly weird 2 bowling spells we've ever had in Test cricket. In that, Krejci would bowl 1 unhittable ball and then 1 long hop. Well, that's how it felt. But Ajaz isn't like that, but he's also not that accurate. If you look back to the first session of this match, where Patel bowled 15 overs, there were 4 full tosses, and I think that count is a bit soft, as there was an accidental Yorker, another 3 balls that even a half shuffle would have made into a full toss. He also missed his length for short, meaning he bowled 4 half trackers. Then there was the line. He bowled a few balls way wide of off stump, and also a few more that were outside leg stump. That means he missed his line on both sides and top to bottom, if that makes sense. It also means in 15 overs that he bowled more than 1 bad ball and over. And yet his 15 overs were 7 maidens, 30 runs and 3 wickets. It's remarkable. The entire thing was so bizarre, although looking back, it's the least bizarre thing of what happened with Ajaz Patel. But what is really important for him is the wicket-taking balls, and he certainly has them. He pitched balls on middle and leg stump that ended up a foot outside off. These fast-turning deliveries that ripped past an unsure probing bat. And yes, the pitch was very much in his favour. He had a ball in his first over that went through the top of the pitch. Big chunk of it came flying up with it. And the spin degrees in Kanpur were 2.6 degrees, and here it was 4.5. That's a big jump up. Plus there's extra pace on the surface, which helps the ball skid on. So it was a near ideal situation for him. So if you have the ability and the facilities to rip the ball, those magic ones buy you some of the poorer deliveries that you're going to bowl. And there was also an element of luck, as there is with any 10-wicket haul. I mean, it's the first one I've actually watched other than highlights, but I'm assuming there's always some luck. Aya's edge could have gone anywhere, and maybe 70% of third umpires decide that Kohli hit his first. But there was also a bunch of times where Ajaz Patel just didn't actually decide that DRS was for him. He's too humble to use DRS. The whole thing was just weird. But let's just have a look at how accurate he is, because I know he's not, but what does that actually mean? And the BCCI didn't actually release any of the data from this particular test, so we went back to Kimber to have a look. And there happened to be another left-arm finger spinner, also another A. Patel in that particular match. So this is both bowlers compared by their second innings. And you can see from this, Ajaz Patel just has a line and a length. He drops the ball exactly where he wants to, the most dangerous spot, and he leaves it there. Ajaz Patel does not. He really doesn't have a spot. He's fuller and straighter, and if Akshar is using a handkerchief, then Ajaz is using, what, a tablecloth? And it's the second innings when you expect the spinner to be their most accurate. The wicket is in their favour, they just need to hit the same spot again and again. Keep pressure on the batters. But he didn't do it, and I went back to look at the first innings as well, and he was even more sporadic. Even if you discount the uncalled wides he was bowling on the leg side. And there are other things here. It doesn't look like Ajaz Patel has bowled that short, but you've got to remember that he is actually a lot shorter than Ajaz Patel. So he was bowling very, very short for him, and quite often he was just easily played off the back foot. So it isn't always fair to compare him to Ajaz Patel, because Ajaz Patel is taller and can bowl a little bit shorter. So if only we had a shorter left-arm finger spinner in this side, because he's probably more like Rangana Harath than he is Ajaz Patel. But he's also a little bit like Ravi Jadeja, I suppose. So let's have a look at the two maps. And you can see they're a little bit more similar here. But you can also see how much more rough Ajaz Patel's map looks than Ravi Jadeja. But yet, here he is with all of these wickets. And if you're playing, the smart money is to wait for the bad balls. They come with such frequency and are often so bad that you can easily score off him and ensure that there's no pressure. But a bit like Moeen Ali, people want to get on top of him. So you have this hilarious situation where Mayank Agarwal missed out on a bunch of full tosses and short balls. And so he runs around the ball and tries to hit it inside out over the offside from outside leg stump as some sort of angry, messy protest. And this tells you a little bit about how modern players play spin. They create extra chances by not just waiting for the easier delivery. But that's also because they know they can put off someone like Ajaz Patel from bowling all those extra wicket-taking killer balls. And I wonder if we aren't seeing a new type of finger spinner, one that is just looser with their worst ball, because their main ball is so threatening. But because their main ball is so threatening, it doesn't matter. It makes them a bit more like leg spinners. And you have to wonder again if it's something to do with DRS, as so many changes in the last decade and a half seem to come from that. And sure, you can score off these finger spinners, but they're a bigger threat than ever before. And instead of polite, accurate finger spin, people rag it now. And I want to explain how kind of all of this comes together for him particularly, because he did take a lot of wickets, even if he struggled with line and length at times in this 10-wicket spell itself. Have a look at the 48th over, where he started with a slightly over-pitched ball just outside eye stump. Next ball, he drops back his length and he bowls around middle and length, and the ball jags sideways while bouncing and it beats Shreyas Iyer. He follows up that beautiful finger-spinning ball with a ball about a metre outside leg stump that is overpitched and is easily swept for four. And the following ball is a good length around leg stump and it slides through, and Iyer moves to the offside of the ball and gets a meaty inside edge and ends up with Tom Blundell, and he's out. Overpitched, unplayable, dog shit, and a wicket in 4 balls. And that's what Ajaz Patel does. For a finger spinner, he is very unpredictable. Most first-class left-arm orthodox are far more accurate, but they don't have his boom ball. And the reason that Iyer was on the offside of that ball playing it is because of the ball 2 balls before. It wasn't through pressure or consistency or any sort of thing like that. It's just that every now and again Ajaz Patel bowls an incredible ball. And even if he bowls some filth in between, you still have to diffuse the bombs that do come. And at Wickets, the home pitch of the city he was born at, he bowled enough bombs to take 10 wickets in an innings. Ajaz Patel is a wicket taker, at least 10 of them.